Hi everyone, Sandy Trefger here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and day 10 of my 13 Frights Before Halloween. Today's project is a vignette box with a skeleton, a bat and a rat, and a magic spell book in here, and a spider with lights in the background. It's a lot of fun to make, and I'm going to show you how to make the box quick and easy and decorate it up for Halloween. I'm going to set this on my mantle, and so I really enjoy how it looks like, and you can turn it off and on, so it's easy to save your battery. Just like that, it turns off for during the day. Still is cute to look at. So thank you so much for joining in on these 13 days that we've been doing. We have, after today, we have 3 more days, and then we'll have the drawing on Halloween Day for a craft supply package. I think I'm going to give away a fall pattern paper pack. So that'll be a lot of fun, and this is for people in the USA, so you do have to leave a comment though to get your name in the drawing, and you can leave a comment once a day on each 13 days of my 13 Frights Before Halloween. So thanks so much for watching, and let's get started making this. Here we are for day 10 of my 13 Frights Before Halloween. We're winding down with our projects. Today we're going to do a vignette box for Halloween to sit on a shelf or on your mantle. And I've got this idea, so we're going to play with it and see where it takes us. The first thing I did is create a background paper for inside of the box. Now, I looked through my stash and I didn't have any vellum, and then I researched online and found that you can kind of create your own vellum, and I did it without doing it on camera because I just honestly didn't know how it would turn out. So my paper that I chose was from a very thin paper bag. It is not the heavy lunch bag, so it has to be a thin gift bag. So if you don't have something like that, you can use parchment paper, or you can use thin copy paper, and then you can tea dye it. So this was already brown, and I didn't have to do that, so I skipped that step. Next, I took my big skull. Tim Holtz have had this for several years. I love it. Anyway, I took this and inked it with the Memento black tuxedo ink and stamped the skull right in the center. And then I took my ink pad and kind of blotted it around, and then I took this stamp, which is from Recollections. I've had it for years too, which is just script, and stamped that around. This X showed up with the stamping of the ink block. I spritzed it with water to kind of get some of this faded out look here, and let it run. And then to get it more transparent, now the instructions that I saw said to brush on baby oil. Well, I don't have any baby oil, but I do have castor oil. My husband has some weird things in the medicine cabinet, so he has castor oil. So I just put a good coating of that on there and rubbed it in, and then blotted it off front and back. It's not oily anymore. I dried it with my heat gun and just let it soak in. And when you do that, I don't know if you can see it, it is more transparent now than it was. Not totally like a vellum might be, but enough. Now I have this string of lights. These are Tim Holtz lights. Now I have taped mine around because for some reason it wasn't making a good connection. It has a little switch, and I want these to go in my vignette box behind this. I think it'll look really cool like that. Just kind of arranged in there on the box, and then with the switch on the outside. So I'm going to do that. So the next thing I'm going to do is make me a box. I thought that I had a Graphic 45 black album box that I could use, but obviously I'm out of those. So I'm going to make mine out of black chipboard, and I'm going to use some Gaffer's construction tape to put it together instead of the traditional wrap, because I want a real quick project. So I'm going to put this skeleton that I bought from Michael's a few years ago. It came on a rope garland, and I cut him off, so he's my last one. I need to get some more, but I'm going to use that in my box, and I'm not sure yet what else I'll add in there. I'll just have to look around and see what I have. I may leave it to where I can add things as I find things over the years. So we'll just see how it turns out. So that is my background paper. Excuse me. Of course, my box is not going to be this size. I'm going to leave it this size until I get my box made and know where to cut it down for the inside of the box. So let me get everything together and then we'll start working on the box. So I've cut my pieces out of the black medium weight chipboard. And I want just a rectangle box. So I made the back 5 by 7. So I have 2 sides that are 3 by 7 and 2 ends that are 5 by 3, 3 by 5. And then I'm going to see if I can make a frame for my paper to go in the background because I want a space for those lights. So these I did 2 1/2" by 7 and about 2, this one's a little wider, but that's okay, 2 1/2" by 5. So we're going to see how this goes together. So I'm going to lay this out first, and I'm just going to butt them all together, just like this. Let's just see how it all turns out. So this goes here. Okay, I'm going to take this tape. This is like a masking tape, construction tape in black. I call it gaffer's tape. Get started here. And I am going to tape each section together. So it's a paper tape. It will tear on the ends, but it's usually pretty strong once you construct it. I have made albums with it before and boxes, and they're all still hanging in there. What I do is I tape it on both sides. So I'll make this a little longer here. Grab me some scissors, that might be easier. And then this one. Sure it stays butted up together. This one I have a little long, turn it over and I can cut it out. To even it out some, and you can put extra. You can put more than just one layer of the paper on there to kind of give it. And this one had discoloration on the tape, so I'm going to cover that up. Flip it over, and I'm going to go ahead and tape the other sides. Now, if you don't have tape like this, you can use some 1 inch wide construction hinges. If you've done those before, and score them in half at a 1/2 inch and use them. I just wanted something quick and easy, and I had the tape here, and I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and use tape on mine this time. Or any kind of box that you might have that's already made, like the base of a box, you could paint it black, alter it with patterned Halloween papers, whatever you want to do for your box. You can, just find what you have on hand. I'm going to grab my bone folder, and I'm going to burnish there where the fold is and bring it on up. So yeah, if you have a box that's already put together. We would really save that step for sure. So, got that. Now we're ready to put these corners together. Same thing with tape. I'm just getting it to bend. Okay, like that. So that's the box. Now we just need to put the sides together. And I'm going to burnish my tape again. Put tape half on one edge, and then the other half will go on the other edge, like this. So first I'm going to tape it down. Now I'm not trying to make a pretty box because it's for Halloween. So, though I do want my tape to be straight, so I'm going to take that one off. That one kind of messed up. But what I mean is I don't care if some of the edges crack a little bit. I want it to have a more spooky Halloween look. So that's why I'm not real particular about making a box like I normally would, you know, an album box. See if we can bring it together now. Here, bring those corners together and fold that tape. And you probably have to add some more because it's kind of short there. Fold the tape. Now, if you wish to reinforce it even more, you can take short strips of your tape, about the 3-inch, and I kind of fold them in half with the sticky out so that I can grab a hold of them. And I just put it in the corner, kind of lay it in there. Whoops. And it does stick to me. So that's why I like to fold it in half. It makes it a little bit easier to actually fit it into that corner, and then I just take my bone folder and I burnish it into the corners to kind of give it a little extra strength right there. So I've done these two sides, so I'll go ahead and do the other two. So I've reinforced all 4 corners, and then the next thing you might want to do is, because this is chipboard, I'm going to take tape and cover the top edges because there's not going to be a lid. So I just kind of, and I clip it here on the corner so I can, you know, wrap it all the way around and just bend it and burnish it in and get it there on the corners. So that just kind of finishes up the edge, the raw edge of the chipboard. Kind of finishes it off and makes it look a little neater there on the edge. Okay. more. Get this one kind of folded out. There we go. So anywhere you might have some white showing from the edge of the tape, I have some here on the inside. I think I'm going to get it folded in, but you can take a black Sharpie and fill that in. So there's the box. Pretty good and sturdy. I'm going to add some pattern paper to kind of dress it up. And now I need to figure out how I want to do my lights. So I'm going to poke a hole here for the light strand, and to where I can eventually tape my light control. This will make a big enough hole or not. I need a little bit bigger, so stand by a second while I get my tools. Okay, this is an awl that I keep in my tool stash. I just bought it like at Harbor Freight or Home Depot. It is a tool. So I'm going to put it here, probably about an inch from the bottom, sort of centered. Pokes a good size hole there. And then my lights are going to go in like this. So that gives me a big enough hole to pull those through. And these are going to all be taped down inside this box. So bring them all the way through. Bring them all the way through so my control can tape to about right there. So I'm going to put some Scotch tape on it to temporarily hold it. Because if I put pattern paper, I'm going to put that underneath. So I'm going to lay this right here, so I can fill that up. So then, of course, we've got the starting point here. And I want all of this to be on the back. And I'm using Scotch tape because I want it to not show. Of course, that vellum-like paper that I made. And I guess I'm just going to wind it around in here. No particular pattern, so I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera because there's no need for you to watch all that going on. And we'll see how it looks. Okay, so I have my lights in. They're on right now. Go ahead and turn them off for right now. Save the battery. Okay, so I'm taking these, the 7-inch long by 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to take my glue, my art glitter glue. I'm going to put glue on each end. And it's a pretty tight, snug fit in there. And then you want glue on one side. It's kind of skinny, so kind of making a mess, but this glue dries clear, so I think it'll be fine. Okay, we're going to put this in, and I'm going to put it just like, you know, 1/8 of an inch above my lights. So going to let it sit right there and there above them, because I don't want my paper. I'm going to hold that until it dries. I don't want my paper touching the lights. So let's get that in there. So it looks like more like a 1/4 of an inch that I have. And once I've got it setting in there, I'm going to put some more glue right along the edge here. And I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll get the other one in. So I've let the 2 side ones supports dry, and they're in really good. So the art glitter glue holds it really good, even though I don't have any hinges holding it. So I'm going to glue the little short ones. And now cut these down. You don't need the full 5-inch because you have the 2 half ones on the side. So I cut them down to 4, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to glue on each end. Whoops, here, and then on the side, one side, and then I'm going to fit that into the end, each end of the box. So I'm forming a platform to glue my paper on. Just like this. I'm not sure if you're able to see it with this black box, but it fits in there pretty good, right in there. So I've got that in there, and I'm going to put a line of glue on top to make sure that glue gets down in there, and then let that dry. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the other side in too. I'm just going to double check the fit and see if that works. Okay, glue on the short ends and one long edge. Okay, so now I need to let that dry. While I'm waiting for the little supports in here to dry good, I went ahead and measured and cut my pattern paper. So I picked up 2 pieces. I didn't want it too childish or bright looking. I wanted the darker colors, so I picked up 2 papers from last year's, I believe it's last year's Authentiques Twilight. So I've cut the back piece, and it measures for the 5x7. It measures just a little under 5, so about 4 7/8, just a little bit over that, by 7, just 6 7/8. So I just went it right up to the edge. So I'm going to lift this tape up, or cut this tape off, so that I can put pattern paper underneath my light right here. So I'm going to lay this here, and I'm going to cut just a slit for that, and I just cut a little hole. Should work for the cord to come out. Okay, so I'll just snip that out, and then if you want to ink your edges, you can. I'm going to use my Copic marker to get the blacker edges on the sides so white's not showing. Just real quickly run that down the edges. Authentique already has a natural stain or distress look on it from the pattern paper, from the way the paper's done. See it here? Right in here is a little darker in places. So now I'm going to take my glue and go ahead and put glue on the back side. I'll go ahead and pattern the back. And burnish it down. So right over here where the split is, just kind of burnish it really good. And I'm going to go ahead, I think, take my black tape. I'm going to cut a straight edge on the end. Don't want it tattered. And I'm just going to attach it over it. And so it can be fairly easily taken off and have a battery added into it. Just kind of cut that one almost too short. Do it again. Just going to secure this right here on the back. That's pretty good. Well, it's not that pretty, but it's still functional there on the back. And then I've cut my pattern papers for the sides. And on the outside, I'm using the same pattern. Pay attention to your direction. I got that one right. So these are cut just under 7 inches by just under 3. So like a 1/16 of an inch off each direction. Because like I said, I want these to go all the way almost to the edge. Glue right here on the corner. Make sure that that's sticking down there underneath that little light packet, battery pack. That's what it's called. Okay. If you wanted to, you could take a scrap of the paper. And put that over it. I cut that about an inch or less. Around the one end, 1/4 inch rounder. Maybe even a 1/2 inch. So that rounds it and matches that a little bit. kind of just attaching it to the tape part. So that takes away some of the busyness, and then if you wanted to add some paper above it and below it, a little scrap paper, you could kind of camouflage it just a little. Of course, if I have to take the battery off, I'll probably have to peel some of this off, but I think it'll be okay. The nice busy print like that, you can take a little bit and cover up some things with it, and you really don't notice that it's pieced together that much. Go. Oops. So there, so that covers it up a little bit better. Now we'll go back to patterning this. So I have the other side here I haven't done yet. Forgot to ink those edges, but I can do this one after the fact. Just barely on the edge with that brush. Now I'm going to ink the other ones before I glue them on. Okay. Okay, so let's ink these others real quick. Okay, so these are cut just under 5 inches by just under 3. So you want to pay attention to the direction that your pattern goes. So I'm having it face this way. It's really just a matter of preference. I definitely wouldn't want it totally upside down, I don't think. You could have cut it the same direction as this, but then on one side you're going to have a little difference. So it's a little challenging to decide which way you really like it. I think this will work. And then the other side is going to face this way. Okay, so now we do the inside. So these, because of the space here, are not a full 3 inches. So I cut mine at 2 3/8 wide by the almost 7 inches tall, and 2 3/8 wide for the top and the bottom at almost 5 inches tall. So make sure I add some ink to the edges of these. And I'm using this black pattern that has these bones in an X design. So I'm going for a more spooky look than the Halloween cute look. Though it'll be cute, just be on the more spooky side, I think. Okay, so there's that inked up. And now we're going to go ahead and glue these in. And you might need to check to see if you need to trim just a tiny bit. Not much. Dry fit it and then trim off on the ends to make it lay flat in there. And then also if you need to trim any off the back. Okay, so there we go. Check it. That one looks fine. And then this long sides, double check them. A little bit trimming on one end. And the last side, we'll check it. That one's cut fine. And as soon as we add our back paper, our see-through paper, vellum, parchment, whatever type of paper you decided to use in yours that you had on hand, then we'll be ready to add in some elements inside. Our box will be finished. So there it is that way. I'm just going to make sure my lights are like where I want them, here at the bottom. And pull them up a little bit where they got covered up by the good thing about it, it's on a wire that you can just like pull up and bend around. I mean, I have it taped in pretty good, but that side doesn't have anything. Okay. Now then, I'm going to turn it on and take a look. See if all my lights are kind of showing. There we go on that one. Okay. Now all we need is our paper. So I cut mine down to 5 by 7. I wanted this blurry part here with the X and the skull over here. And I'm just going to kind of fit it in and see if I might need to trim it some. I think it's going to be a pretty good fit. That's going to look kind of cool in there. You can't really see really well the skull. It's kind of hidden there, but I like the looks of it. So let's take this out. We put glue on this flat part of this platform that I built in here. It's 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. I'm thinking because of the color of my paper and that art glitter glue dries clear that everything's going to be fine once it dries. It's not going to really show up that much. I just need to make sure I'm getting it in flat enough on the edges here. Like that. So now I'm ready to start gluing in different elements and things that I found. I don't have a whole lot here, but I may be able to add in as each year. So I have a skeleton here, and I want him, I think, standing on the side. So I'll put glue on the back of his skull. Here at the hip bones, maybe some on his spine. I don't know if it'll fit flush up there or not, but some on the back of his leg. I'll lay this flat so that I can position him in here. His feet on the bottom. We're going to have to let him dry. He has one foot that touches the bottom, so I'm going to put glue on that. And touch it down. So we have this rectangle shape. It's got 2 squares on the end and then the rectangle. So you just fold it up. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I'm going to put glue. So I'm going to turn it the other way. I want the black showing. Other way. Had it right the first time. Okay. So this rectangle piece is going to glue down into the base of my box, or the side, the bottom side. And put the cut in all the way into the cut there, and then this other last square on the end is going to attach to the back wall that's lit up. Kind of. That leaves me a piece on the front to attach this back piece of this mouse on. So I put glue on this small piece here on the front, and this mouse is going to go in, and it's his back part of tail of him. Cut this off a little bit. I'm going to resize him a little bit. But these were from my stash. Okay. So I resized him so his tail wasn't so long. And then I could glue him in there. Now this isn't a pop-up. This is just, I'm making these to give me some space behind there. I like that, how that looks. Okay, what else have we got? We've got a bat. I don't know if I want the bat in there or not. So the bat will have to be smaller pieces. See if I can suspend him somehow. Very top. So I've got these little 1/4 inch pieces, or 1/8 inch. I'm going to put one on each wing. And then I'm just going to fold right there, just a little bit above the top of the wing. And depending on your elements, everything, you're going to just have to kind of play with it. I'm going to cut these off a little shorter. So this is what I'm going to glue into the top. Let's see if this works. So I'll put glue on the top. Reach in there. Glue those two pieces in so that he's like hanging. I'll do it upside down. Hanging from the top. Whoops. My skeleton wasn't dry yet. There. Burnish those in. And once they're attached in, then you drop it down. It's going to be like that. Cool, I like that. Gotta be careful and not put too terribly much in. Got the spider, I might need some spider web. I've got a caution tape. I don't know if I want caution tape or not. It's a piece of white on the foot of my mouse I want to get rid of. This is washi tape that I had. So I think I'm going to put like a dab on this outer edge right here of glue. And glue the end. Because washi tape will come loose sometimes. So I'm just going to bring it out. Across at an angle, and then of course glue this end. I mean, it seems to be stuck good, but I know that it will come loose eventually, just when you don't want it to. More glue on my skeleton's foot. Okay, there we go. Okay, I like that. What do we think? We think we need some more stuff or not? We have Spooky here. We got Caution and Spooky. So this can attach to the outer edge. Whoa. Gonna have to go from corner to corner. So I'm just gluing it here on this corner. And then over here on the bottom of the S. See how that looks. It's cute too. Okay. I had a black cat. I'm just looking and thinking. See if I like this book of spells in there or not. Fold this in half and then in half again. Gives me a square. Let's see if this will work or not. Attach one end to the back of the card or the book. This. And then I cut this other square off. I only need the L shape. This. So it's a 1/2 inch L shape where one side glues to the book inside of the box and the other side glues to the back of the book. Just like that. Just to hold it in place. I've got to press on it to make it grab. I want to push it back some. There we go. Okay, I like how that looks. It brings a little color of the caution tape in. So it has a cat on it, so I don't need this cat. Got the caution tape. I had Frightful Night. And I'm just going to put that on the top here, like a label on the box. Here. And let's see, I have a spider, and then I wonder if I want some cheesecloth. So I'm going to see what it looks like. And cut off a little piece. Just have to pull it apart. So I have a long piece here. This makes great spider webs. Just some cheesecloth that you can buy. And I'm thinking it's going to go in here on top of this piece that's holding the rat. Grab my tweezers. And just kind of stick it in and glue it. Let the glue grab it. That should hold it in. Pull some out here. Always get kind of carried away here with what I'm doing. And yes, it would be easier to attach it in before I glue everything in, but then I never know exactly how we want it to look. Kind of wrap it, fold it over the corner of the book. So I add some glue right there. And the spider. These are plastic rings in the Halloween party department. I just cut the back of the ring off and then apply a bunch of glue to the back to get it to stay in there where I want it. There we go. Okay, so we need to let all that dry. There is my spooky vignette for Halloween with my lights in the back. I really like this. This turned out really cute. So I think it's pretty simple to make. And remember, it's even easier if you have your own box. I think it looks great. And so that is our day 10 project for October the 27th. We're coming up close to Halloween, so this is ready to sit on my shelf, on my mantle, and I like how it turned out. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you'll check back tomorrow for day 11. Tomorrow we're going to make a pocket mini album. So gather up your Halloween papers. The pages are actually made out of 12 by 12 double-sided paper and some chipboard for the cover, and we'll get that made for day 11. So thanks again. Bye-bye.